Hi YouTube, welcome back. Thank you for joining my channel. In this video you'll see we are redoing the tongue of the trailer, and then we'll redo the entire suspension with the leaf spring, the axle. So enjoy. If you like it, please subscribe. Alright, here I'm trying to use the old trailer tongue to set the new one up, but I don't know, I don't have a good feeling about this because I'm concerned that the new tongue hand that I bought might be different and the angle might be wrong and so on, so I'm not completely convinced. So what I'm going to do here, instead of doing that, is I'm going to weld the main arm to those A-arm frame, the tongue. So this way I'm sure this is really accurate, and this way we can make sure that there's no the weight, the pulling weight will be distributed properly, and there's no lack of contact or whatsoever on one side or the other. So I'm going to weld this up and then flip it around, weld it again, make sure that is fully welded. Here's the finished result on the top side. So I'm not a professional welder at all, but sometimes I do end up with nice welds. Here is the extended A-arm that was coming outside of the frame. I'm cutting a V-groove, so this way I can bend the pipe towards the frame and have an extended A-arm into the frame. So my cut was actually 5 degrees on each side of the line I wanted, because I measured that I needed 10 degrees overall, so I cut 5 on each side of my cutting line. A little bit of struggle there, but hey, we got it done. There. So putting back the A-arm on the frame, and we will need to bend it a little bit more towards the inside of the frame to be parallel. So this is just a way to look at it, make sure it's at its proper place, and then I'm going to use some straps and we'll bend it towards the inside, and this way I'll be able to tack weld my joints, and after that fully weld the A-arm in its proper position. Doesn't take much, but by hand it always bounces back, so this way it stays where it needs to be. So final checkup, make sure it's on my lines, and lines are pretty much matching. That's good, the angle's good. So let's tack weld this. now that the frame is all welded, and now we are actually putting the A-arm, or the tongue, I should say the trailer tongue, and weld it over the frame permanently. So that's what I'm doing now. I'm just making sure that the strap, everything is in line, and now I'm going to weld the entire tongue to the frame. There's going to be about, I would say, 15 or 20 points of welding to the frame, so I'm not concerned after that.
Perfect.
Final measurements. Make sure everything's good, that we're still square, and
Do some separate. Separate.
so now I'm a little bit doing my welds. How can I say that? Doing my welds probably overkill, because I am a little bit not nervous, but you know, I'm not a professional welder at all, and I just want to make sure that everything is very solid. So what I'm doing is I'm putting a weld bead everywhere I need, inside and outside, alternating areas. And then I will chip the slag of the weld and come back and do a way thicker weld on top of everything. So this way it's well solid, and you know, I'm not concerned anymore after a double weld like that. Same thing on the other side. First weld was done. Now I'm doing the second set of weld. I mean, I've done many projects. I mean, I've built some stairs to climb on my boat from the trailer hitch, and I'm quite heavy, as you can see, and there's absolutely no problem with my stairs, and I've done that method, and I mean, it's a lot of weight that swing over those little stairs. So I mean, my welds are quite good at the end. They might not be the prettiest, but they're solid. One thing that I use this time is a automatic shielding helmet. As soon as it hits the light, it auto adjusts to a dark view. So, I mean, starting my weld was easier because once it's not on, you see almost naturally if like you have no helmets on the head. That's very helpful. At least for me, it is. Oh, that's a challenge. Moving back the trailer because I need to close the door eventually. We've struggled because you know the weight of the A arm and the weight of the trailer itself is quite big, and I was trying to lift it up from the far end, but there's no way it's gonna move there. I cannot lift it high enough to at least clear those legs, and I want to keep it on the legs because I have other stuff to do on it. So I'm gonna try to move a couple inches by a couple inches, and it seems to be working very fine. That should be enough. Alright, now we're on the suspension process. To do the measurements to see if the axle will be aligned with the frame, I need to refer to the face hub. And one of the wheels on the side, the bearing process was loose, and the hub was actually moving quite a bit, so I didn't like that for measurement. So I'm just putting the trailer back, not the trailer, the axle back up, and quite tight so there's no play, so my measurement will be accurate. So in a minute, you'll see that once we put it back on the frame, we're trying to align it, and we're going to take measurements probably 10-15 times before I can set the anger on the frame. My concern right now is that these leaf springs are quite old, and we're going to put new ones on. But to do so, we have to remove the U-bolts, and those U-bolts are not removable. So I'm going to have to cut them and put new ones, which I already have. I bought a kit to put new ones on. I was just concerned that using those leaf spring would actually cause issues down the road, and unfortunately, actually luckily, once we removed it, we saw that one of the leaf spring was actually broken. So I'm pretty glad that we decided to change it to a new set. Actually, my wife put me to that mode of changing everything that is not actually new, at least on the frame. She wants everything new, so I'm safe when I'm do quite a bit of traveling to go snowmobiling, and sometimes I could drive 5.5 hours, and she feels more safe, and that everything's going to be all new and fixed. So the only thing I'm not going to change at the moment is the axle, and the reason being the axle must have been changed within those 10 years of the trailer life, because it seems pretty good, and there's no loose. I mean, the bearing will need to be changed obviously before Actually, they're good, but I'm not going to take any chances. It's not 30 bucks per wheel. That's going to cause a lot of difference in the overall cost of the rebuild. So right now, everything will be new except the axle itself, but all the bearings and the hubs obviously will turn on new bearings. So that's going to be pretty safe. Cutting the other side, not a grinding wheel, a cutting wheel. That's much easier with a thin blade. So it goes through quite fast, and then we'll be able to put the new leaf spring on and work ourselves towards full suspension. The only problem I see is right now the axle is under actually above the leaf spring, because that's exactly how they're going to go, and that's not what I'm looking for. The trailer was a couple inches, I would say 4 or 5 inches too low when you look at the trailer hitch, and I do have a couple of different size of trailer hitch that, you know, drop downs are 2 inches, 4 inches, and so on. But they're utilizing a different ball, right? So they're utilizing a 2-inch ball, and this hitch, and for that type of trailer, requires a 2 and 5/16, I believe, something. It's a bigger ball. So what I'm going to do here is I'm going to mount the axle on top of the leaf spring, as you see on the screen. And this will allow at least a 4-inch increase in height, and that's going to be helpful. So for that, we need to change the leaf spring a center pin on the other side. So it's very easy. It's just a bolt, and that bolt is actually on one side a bolt, but on the other side just a pin, and that pin is what goes into the axle mounting point. Just gonna put the bolt back, and this way we'll be able to put the axle on the center, the center pin. Now we can mount the U-bolts, the new set, back on, and this way everything will be brand new.
snug by hand. Go ahead.
All right, so it's time to tack weld or spot weld the front hangers and make sure that they are parallel versus the main arm and square in the frame, so this way when I track the trailer, my wheel will be tracking straight and they won't wore out badly. So that's gonna work good, and both are tacked at the same distance. I can't remember what it is, but we made several measurements, tack weld, make sure it works, and then fully weld them. Once this is done, we'll mount the suspension on it, and then we're gonna have to tack weld or spot weld the back hanger, and then mount the remaining of the suspension. One thing I did wrong is I over-tied it, not over-tied it, but I tied it, the U-bolt from the get-go, and I had no play into the